watched my first video, I talked a little bit about who Lucio is to me, and you will get to know him more. I'm going to let him do a introduction, but definitely get your pen and your paper out so that you can take your notes. This is going to be a really, really, really good series. End of the series, actually, that we never finished, but we're finishing it now.
Hello, I am Lucio. I am a, how do I describe this? I'm a seeker of knowledge and a speaker of truth, a light worker. I have found that my mission is to wake up my people and to give us the knowledge that we are so much greater than we think we truly are. A little bit about me: I'm from Chicago, born and raised. I am a trained plumber, licensed plumber. I am a father. I love nature. But I began a spiritual journey about 14 years ago due to a goddess actually leaving me. And that journey has led me to this beautiful goddess here. During that time in these 14 years, I have had many pitfalls, a lot of setbacks, which from what I've learned is understandable, because the mission that I undertook was to uplift our people in any way I could. And the biggest way is to give you the knowledge of what we are and how we came to be into this situation we're in today. I have attended many lectures. I have many books and writings that I've studied and learned from. I'm not trying to come off as an expert in anything, because I don't think that you actually can be an expert in what we're talking about. You don't have enough years to actually get all of the knowledge that has been stolen from us, that is kept away from us. So in that regard, we are all students. Even the grandmasters, John Henry Clark, Yusuf Ben Yochanan, John Jackson, Sheikh Anta Diop. As great and as extensive as that knowledge base was, what we're talking about is amassing roughly, let's say, 4,000 years of knowledge that was taken away and hidden from black people. So I don't care if you live to be 100, you're not gonna get it all, right? So what I'm saying is that this is a war. It was a war that began when the ice walls first fell and the second frequency came onto this planet freely.
Well, maybe, because he ready to get started already. Look, came ready. So, okay, so this is, I wanted to first, right, explain why we about to go back 4,000 years ago. Okay, I want to explain this because if, again, we don't know who we are, then it's very hard to, you know what I'm saying, right, be who we were destined to be. It's very hard to, we stay kind of stuck in this algorithm that, yes, is fluctuating back and forth. So when we talk about spiritual warfare, the spiritual warfare is that whole knowledge is power, because the more you know, the more you can grow, right? Exactly. We are going to take you way back. Lucia, take you way back, to at least to.
How far back you want me to take them?
You know what? I really want to. I think we take it far back. Like, I mean, if we have to make this a 2-part, series, that's just what we have to do. But I think that we should take it back to.
Take it back to the beginning.
To the beginning, the real beginning.
Yes.
And just kind of flow through there. But in order to, now we talked about a lot of other different spiritual things. So now this has been some stepping stones. The first thing I talked to you all about was building up and working on those chakras, right? Because that's how your spiritual organs function, right? So once you know how your chakras are function, now you can elevate higher in this realm, right? Then we talked about why it's important to educate yourself and your children. You have to
Definitely.
unlearn everything that you've
Yes.
been taught
Yes.
and relearn
Yes.
what needs to be, because all this school shit and all this none of that matters. It really is a trap to keep, is one of the many traps to kind of keep you suppressed in this,
Right.
patriotic society or
So
whatever.
they can profit off of harnessing your energy.
Yes, because
And what-
energy
Right.
is just all this is.
We have been, as you say, dumbed down to a certain extent, that you think that money is really something that's transactional, something that is a measure of worth. Well, money ain't shit. All right, it doesn't mean shit. Money was created as a medium of exchange to make exchange easier. I can't just walk around with a cow and come to Michelle and say, "Hey, Michelle, I
Yeah.
want to buy this
Cow,
plant. I
right?
want to buy this plant. Here,
Right.
take this cow."
Right.
So that's all it is. And when you become a slave to money, when you become so indebted and so ensnared in the trappings of it,
That root chakra.
and you're fucked. Really. In order to be really free, what this series is telling you is that you have to know. You have to get rid of belief. Belief is not going to do shit for you. Knowledge will. So in taking you back, I'm going to take you back to the beginning. Not many people look at the beginning. Okay? In the beginning, in every religious system, it begins in darkness. Okay? So if your beginning is in darkness, that should tell you that there's nothing wrong with dark. Right? When you start off with that frame of mind, I feel you will.
And remember too, that's another trap that they
Exactly.
tell us. The beginning, they kind of go past. In the beginning there was,
It was darkness.
They
Right.
like to, hop to
Right.
the light.
To the
What
light.
was-
Right. But see, the darkness came before the light. It's like when you walk in your house at nighttime. You just come in from outside. You left during the day, so you didn't have any lights on, right? So when you come in the house, it's dark. The darkness is already there. You have to bring the light in.
Right.
And when you take the light out, the darkness is going to be back. So darkness is your beginning. We begin in darkness. We come from darkness, and there's nothing wrong with it. Everything comes from darkness, from the triple dark waters of Nun. That goes to the oldest creation story that we don't know. And it was generated by black thought, black minds. The Nun, the triple dark waters of Nun, from which Ptah rose as a hill. Ptah being the logos, the thought of the universe, the creator, the door opener. And Ptah spake, saying Amen or Amun. That doesn't mean so be it. It means come forth. It was a summons. Ptah looking back into the darkness from which Ptah came, and would understand when I'm saying these words, these are not people, these are not gods, these are words that our ancestors put to be able to talk about concepts, really
Yes.
cosmic metaphysical concepts. The Caucasian animal, his mind is so damaged that he could not comprehend this. And what has been done is that because we are superior, they had to dumb you down. They had to damage your mind so that you would not receive these messages to help you to elevate. Right? So Ptah looked back into the darkness and said Amun or Amen, summoning Aten, the light. And therefore, when the light comes out of the darkness, you can train that light back into the darkness, and now you can see. And you can actually identify, which according to the story, Aten named everything that came out after. Okay? It's a story, but it's very scientific. It's metaphysical. Your ancestors, our ancestors, spoke about extremely complex concepts, and they made it into allegory and stories, and explained it in such a way that even a child can understand it.
So let's I was actually just talking to the kids about this because I had to explain to them, this is what personification is. Okay, personification is taking a big concept and bringing it down to, or describing it as a person, place, or a thing, something in which we can comprehend and understand here in this realm, right? Only in this realm.
Right.
You know, because when we begin to vibrate and rise higher, you know,
You don't, you don't need the words.
Right. So
you really see, the true currency of the universe is energy, because energy is all. Your thoughts are energy. Your thoughts are generated in your brain, and you should know that your brain operates on electrical impulses. That's energy. You are a power producing being. Okay? Now think about that. Your body, because of the chemical processes, produces electricity. How powerful are you really? When you look in the sky, like right now here in Chicago, it's raining. They're predicting thunderstorms, right? So when you see that lightning, 70,000 volts on average, you think, wow. But do you look in the mirror and say, wow? That power was taken from you because they dumbed you down so you wouldn't know that you are the same as that energy in the sky. You are eternal. You came here by choice. We come into these mortal cocoons by choice. We are all fractal pieces of the all, and it's in the all's desire to know all of self. Infinite had to know finite. So that's the purpose of your human existence. And we as black people, being the first humans in existence, actually, she was the first human in existence. That's something else that we were lied to about. There was no man before woman. The divine feminine principle and the divine masculine principle have always existed, but in this third dimension realm, in order for infinite to come into a finite mortal form to house the logos of the universe,
the thought of the universe,
right? The woman had to come first.
We create. We have the power of creation. Like this is, we can create inside of our body. We can hold creation. Now this is physical realm. Remember we talked about as above, so below, right? One of the Hermetic principles. Okay, so whatever is the same way we as a physical avatar, the same way we create and give birth here, it's the same way in the spiritual realm, in the astral realm. You have feminine energy giving birth to every single type of energy that there is. Okay, so I just wanted to,
Thank you. So, in taking us back, you have to look at the sciences that we have today, and realize that some of the sciences we have today have also been toyed with and fucked with so that you wouldn't get the true information.
And can I say one more thing?
Yes, please do.
So as you all listen to Lucio talk, I want you to do me a favor, and how can I? Because I want them to be able to connect with what you're saying, right?
Okay. All right.
As Lucio is talking, I need you all to understand, regardless of what you have been told, you need to understand, understand, and overstand that there is no separation with spirituality and science. It is one in the same. This has been another huge trap that we've fallen into because they have separated. That's why if you only want to talk about religion, it doesn't make sense. That's why if you only want to talk about science, it doesn't make sense because you get the hidden blocks. But when you intertwine both of them, now you have a complete picture, right? You can't do a puzzle with missing pieces. Connect the dots.
Yes.
And I'm going to try to connect them with y'all, okay?
Yeah, because I have a tendency to ramble, so kind of keep me on task. All right, what she said is very important. Those listening to this or watching this video who are of a religious mindset, you need to get out of that religious mindset. The word religion comes from the Latin word religare. Religare means to bind back. If you want to be free, you have to get rid of religion, because religion is a created concept to keep you contained. You can't free yourself and fulfill yourself spiritually if you're going to keep going into a religious mindset. If you're going to go into Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, all of these isms were created by the Tamahu to keep you in a controlled state. Understand something. As human beings, we have existed in this third dimension here for about roughly 4 million years. Okay, science tells us that the oldest skeletons, or they nicknamed it Lucy or Dick and Nash, coming from the continent, mother continent. Those bones are 3.5 to 4 million years old, okay? And was female. Now, if we can go back that far, how much knowledge do we have in us as the descendants of that original human being? It is in your Akashic records. It's in your DNA.
Yes.
It's in the energy of you.
Yes.
The Akashic record is the collective knowledge of humanity. I want you to imagine you have a child. You sit your child on your lap, you tell your child your stories, you tell the child about your life, you tell the child about your grandmother, your grandfather. You teach your child, and that story, that information, that child is taking into his brain and is storing it. Okay? Your brain is a computer. To take this information and store it in your DNA. Okay? And therefore, when you have a child, that information stored in your DNA, that Akashic record, you give it to that child. And that's how it continues to go. And it continues to grow. What has happened to us as, and I use the word black, and if you offended by black, fuck you. Because I really don't want to get tripped up on that we are Moors or we are Africans, and there's so many different ways of differentiating us. But
at the end of the day,
right, we are one.
Right.
See, that's the thing about it. I want us to get back to a unified state. Therefore, we can attain our Akashic records, and we can help give that to each other, and we can uplift our people. So we can get that 4 million years of information. Well, let's say not 4 million years. 4 million years minus the roughly 4,000 years since the Amu has really been fucking with shit. Okay? I want to get back to what we were before the ice walls fell, because we came into this third dimensional realm on this planet to be caretakers of this planet. We are here to live in a harmonious state with each other and this planet. If there ever was a heaven, it's here. It's always been here. However, because we allowed them to take over us, really. This is why you see this planet in a turmoil now.
Yeah.
All right. And the only way that we are going to heal this planet and leave a place for our children to have a home and their children to have a home is to come back into our natural state, coming back into what we are truly, the quote unquote gods and goddesses of this realm. To do that, you have to have the knowledge of what you are. When I call you a god or a goddess, I could have called you a neter or a netert. That's the oldest language that we can actually translate. It's from the Medu Neter. It's what you call hieroglyphics. Understand something, black family. There is nothing here that your ancestors did not create. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Seriously. Our ancestors were the first people to make glass. All right? Now, we have been dumbed down to such an extent that we were taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America and Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity. It's bullshit. Complete bullshit. Cristobal Colon never set foot on the North American continent, so he couldn't have discovered America. They landed in some islands. So think about that. I think about what they teach you in school.
What they teach our kids.
Right. See, I'm a little older than you. Actually, a lot older. I would fail if I said Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. I'd fail the fucking test.
Wow.
All right. But in the class that was being taught, they said that he landed on these islands. Well, North American continent is not a fucking island. South America, come on, it's not a fucking island. So how in the hell did he land on an island and discover a continent?
Right.
See, there's so many contradictions in the way we have been indoctrinated to think. That's why we're acting the way we act now. Why you have blacks killing blacks, robbing from blacks, not being trustworthy to other blacks, because you don't realize that we are family. This is my sister. Period. That's it. When you get back to the natural way of thinking, there's no way in hell that you're going to how would I disrespect my sister? I might as well spit in the face of my grandmother, but that's what you do because you don't seek your own knowledge of who you are. We have become like trees without roots. You have to get back to these roots so you can reclaim your Akashic record and you can stand in the light of knowing you've dropped belief and you're free. And therefore you can free others. And we can become a cohesive, loving family, going back to the harmonious state that we were in, and have a society like Kemet, a society with houses with no doors.
Yeah.
All right, think about this. Now we know that on the continent of Africa, and I say Africa, we'll get into that a little later, maybe. We know that there's lions and wild animals, cheetahs and hyenas and shit like that. Wouldn't you want to have a door? But they didn't. Not only were they not worried about the animals, if you don't have a door on your house, you ain't worried about nobody coming in and fucking with you. Nobody's gonna come in and steal. If I have no door, I'm saying I trust everything.
Because I'm
right.
connecting with.
I'm connecting with everything. All right. understand something, family, and I say enter because you have to take this into you. And I know once you do, it's going to resonate in you because you are the first frequency. You are that sound that Ptah spake, that Ptah spoke, that first frequency, that amen, that that's the sound of the energy at rest going into motion. When you take this information and you start researching and you look for these answers for yourself, because I don't want you to believe a damn thing that I say. I want you to look this stuff up. You are going to start connecting with questions that you already had.
Yes.
All right? You might not have been able to vocalize them, but they've been there inside of you all along. When you were taught that Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity in the 1700s, I'm quite sure that in your computer, you said, how is some man holding a wet string and it's going to get 70,000 volts of electricity and not burn because rubber gloves and rubber boots weren't invented in the 1700s. They didn't have them. So immediately your brain is saying, this is some bullshit, but wait a minute. You didn't vocalize it because to do so would be going against that person at the head of the class, the teacher, who is we feel has a position of authority. Nothing is further from the truth. Anybody that's telling you lies has no authority to tell you shit else afterwards, which is why I say get rid of the religion, because they all start with lies. All religions are constructs that take bits and pieces of the truth of our story and they wrap them with some lies and force them on you to control you so that you're not free. You're not able to ascend to your highest self. You're not able to be the beautiful, glorious spiritual being that you came here to be. That's your purpose for coming here. Infinite came here to know finite and therefore go back and become this spiritual phoenix. You know, that is what this is. Like the goddess Michelle was talking about, there is no death. There is no death.
Not for us.
Not for us. No. This mortal body, this carbon-based construct will stop functioning at some time. But the energy of Lucio is eternal.